Good afternoon, evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the BNS podcast. This is a special edition. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, so a lot of people must have had a good or a not so good Valentine's Day. My guest today is, first of all, let me introduce our main guest, Jojo. Jojo is a multicultural integrative therapist. You're going to explain to us what that means, Jojo. I thought you were a psychotherapist, but if you didn't have it as multicultural integrative therapist, based in the UK, someone who has been in this field for quite a long time and understands a lot. You guys know Obi. Obi is the co-host of the BNS podcast, but today Obi is not here as the co-host of the podcast. He's actually here as a guest. We're talking about dating, guys. We're talking about dating and the modern love. What is modern love? So Obi's going to give the male perspective in some cases, and Josephine will come in with both the female perspective and also from a psychotherapist or clinical component. I'm just your host. I just ask the basic questions and pick on everyone as the show goes on. So let's be very polite. Ladies first. Jojo, how you doing there?
I'm very well, thank you, Ike. It's nice to be back again.
Yes. And OBG. What's up, Obi?
Let me do like the modern day popsies.
Really?
Somebody reminded me that I'm a Gen Z father.
What does that mean, Gen Z father? Please, I need to know.
You want to go there?
So listen, if you're a Gen Z father, I'm a Gen X father. I got
the Gen Z grandpas.
I'm telling you, man. Okay, let's get this ball rolling. Couple of questions. People have already sent in their questions, so kind of promoted it earlier on, so folks were excited. I hope we can get to all these questions. Jojo, you just finished writing an awesome book. Tell us a bit about it. I've read the book on soft copy. I ordered my hard copy due to the snow and the bad weather. It's kind of in snow melt, but they're promising me that I'll get it by next week, Saturday, which is for some reason I don't understand. But you have a copy of the book. Tell us about your book.
Thank you, Ike. So my book is called The Premarital Pep Talk. Basically, I found out that a lot of marital books are based on a coaching perspective, which is great. So we're looking at communication, conflict resolution, etc. But as a psychotherapist, we're always interested in the root of the problem. So the Premarital Pep Talk talks about relationship from the roots. All right. Most of the time, people are married 10 years, 15 years, or they're dating 6 months, 1 year, and then they get married and they still find that they don't understand themselves. But they've gone through all those coaching, how do we communicate, manage our finances and stuff. And the base of it all, or the root of it all, is the difference between us as men and women. So in the Premarital Pep Talk, I look at things like our family of origin. How did nature and nurture impact you as a person? And how is that now playing up in your relationship? So the Premarital Pep Talk, it's for anyone really, whether you're just dating, whether you're thinking of going into a long-term relationship, whether you are a couple that have been together for years or have just gotten together. It's important to understand self. Right. Because at the end of the day, when you get married, it is yourself you're bringing into the relationship. And if you don't understand each other's self, then communication and all those conflicts will still be there.
Okay, I know there's a lot of adults that watch this program. So let's take it from an adult perspective, for instance. Now, the average person in my age bracket is either married or has been married or is married-ish, which means you're in and you're out. You don't even know what you're doing anymore. The relationship is not the same anymore as it used to be, or you've actually gone through a divorce, or in some cases 2 divorces. And then we're talking about a premarital pep talk. how does someone who has gone through marriage and has the scars of divorce now get into the issue of having a pre-marital pep talk? Is this with themselves or is it with the other partner?
Well, the premarital pep talk is written in such a way that you can go through it with a partner because it's got two components to it. It acts like a mini workbook, and at the same time, it acts as a book that takes you through with information. So, taking your scenario, someone who's been divorced twice, wouldn't it be interesting for that person to say, why have I been divorced twice? Is the problem with me? Is it that I can't stay with someone? Or is it that I go into relationships and I don't even understand what I want? And that's the beauty about the premarital pep talk, because it forces you to look inwards first, get to understand yourself. If you don't understand yourself, then you don't really know what it is you're bringing to the table in a relationship. If you work with it with a partner, then it also helps you and your partner to understand each other, to understand why you react to stuff the way you do. There's something I like to say to people. I like to explain to people that the problem is not the problem. Your reaction is. And so when we come into
say that again. Say that again. The problem is not the problem. Your reaction is.
Yes.
Right. That's deep. So what does that mean?
If I expand it here, we all have this kind of problem. There is no problem in the world that is unique to you or unique to me. All right. But what changes the problem is how we react to that problem. So I give you a good example. Obi was he was teasing my glasses earlier on. So imagine if I was wearing glasses and the shade of my glasses are yellow, and you're wearing a pair and yours is green. If you and I are looking at exactly the same thing, which is the problem, I would see it with a yellow tint. You would see the same image with a green tint. That's exactly how life is. We're all reacting to a problem based on where we're coming from. So the premarital pep talk, whether you're looking at it as an individual or whether you're working on it as a couple or partners or people thinking of dating, it helps you to actually recognize what color specs am I looking at things from.
Okay, let me ask you one more question before I get to Obi, because and I can keep you here forever on this topic. Okay, so everybody has different shades of glasses they're wearing, basically, aka your perspective towards life, right? How do you now get to the point where you begin to work together? Because you might never see things the same way. The way I see money might not be the same way somebody else sees money, right? How do we get to the point of a couple or people who are dating get to see money the same way or see things the same way?
Okay, so the idea of coming into a relationship with someone isn't necessarily about you and the person agreeing completely. It is reaching a point where I can take a little from you, you can take a little from me, and together we can create our own. So I use the words I used in my book. I call it playbook. When you and someone come into a relationship, I come with my own playbook. My playbook has a lot to do with my own nurture, with my own family of origin, with the things I've experienced and how those things have formed my understanding, including my own family. You come as well with your own playbook. All right. When we come into relationship, I first have to appreciate your playbook. You need to appreciate my playbook. And then what we then do as a team is take what we want to take from each other's playbooks and then create the playbook that we now use to work together as a team as we build, the next generation, the next family unit.
So basically it's coming from a family to build a family, because then you're taking components of different things. Obi, what kind of glasses are you wearing? What's your perspective on this? Oh, you don't wear glasses or this kind of thing. Obi, what's your take?
I think now I understand on a lighter note why I didn't wear my glasses. They no glasses to nothing to see. But that being said, wow. I had wanted to say something that related to what you said. I and it looks like you read my mind and just answered that. So I'm going to say it just very quick. The caption somehow sounded like, there is this racism here between those that are single and those that are married. And it looked like kind of favored those who are about to get into it than those who are already in it, right? And sometimes I feel like, don't you think that those who are already in it needs more of that also to strengthen theirs? For I venture that is something. But now, to my own perspective, I would say I agree correctly with whatever you said. And, it brings me to, it is almost the same thing as understanding your various signs. In some cases, various zodiac signs. Those days I tried to do a kind of um, understanding different personalities, and that was to strengthen my personal relationship with people. So I began to read why people act the way they do, different signs, how they behave, and how compatible they are to each other, in order to find out where is my area of weakness. Now, to be conscious of my weakness and make sure that my weakness doesn't jeopardize my relationship, and then also to leverage on my strengths to strengthen my relationship. And I think what you're trying to do is just to, the normal premarital classes or the courtship period, people should now be more intentional, be focused on what to, do to help them make a better relationship. I think that's my opinion. That's a very good one.
Wow. Okay, you guys are real ginger this afternoon. Okay. Does it mean that one's weakness should be on the mind over the strength based on how society categorizes what is important? Both of you, anyone can answer it.
Well, I think I understand your question. I'm going to pick something. There's a chapter in my book, and in that chapter, I used a simple illustration. And I know that the book says marital, so immediately everybody thinks marriage. However, is what was that you called it? Gen Z generation?
Yeah.
Whatever generation. I've lost all the alphabets, but whatever generation that we're in, right? Yeah. We've pushed commitments beyond just marriage. So some people choose to be partners, etc. As long as you've chosen that you're going to be committed in a relationship with someone. I've created, well, that's the wrong word. There's a concept out there called the marriage hand, as I refer to it. Now, if you look at your 5 fingers, all right, we tend to refer to the fingers as the strengths of each person in the relationship, and the valleys between your fingers as the weaknesses. A good, healthy relationship should be such that I take my strengths and I cover your weakness. You take your strengths and you cover my weakness. Together, we create a relationship that is unbreakable. So in reality, no strength or weakness is better than the other. That's the beauty about actually going through an exercise that takes you first to the root. You see, the way you manage money is very much rooted in your upbringing, in your family of origin, in your nurture, the culture you grew up in, the religion, your politics, your socioeconomic status, etc. All those things came together to form your understanding of money. Likewise for the other person. So when both of you are using the words Obi used, I like that, intentional. You're being deliberate to actually understand each other. You will find out that you might be a better communicator. I'm a better numbers person. Neither one of us will put ourselves down. Instead, we'll be able to then create, in quote, a playbook where I can appreciate that your strength. And when we come together as a family, whatever names you want to refer to your unit, when we come together in those areas, I defer to you, realizing and recognizing that the fact that I defer to you doesn't reduce who I am as a person. I hope that kind of
that's I think for me that That brings a lot of clarity.
Would you mind if I say something there?
Please.
Just to come from another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I love what she said.
Oh.
And now I conceived mine from the scripture. Forgive me, I want to go that dimension.
No, that's okay.
In Genesis, the Bible said, and both were naked. And both were naked and were not ashamed.
Right.
Now, before you get to both were naked, it was first Adam. And then God caused Adam to sleep when Adam was finding it difficult and needed a companion. And God asked of Adam, Bible said, took from Adam, meaning Adam became incomplete without. The word Adam found out and he said, yes, this is what came out of me. I am paraphrasing.
Correct.
Now, the scripture that went on to say both were naked and were not ashamed. Now, both saw themselves as we complement each other.
Oh.
I cannot be ashamed of myself. So she is me. I am her. And now, I know that that part which I do not have is my shame. Understand me?
Mm-hmm.
That which I have that she does not have is her shame. Like you said, I make up for what she do not have, and she make up for what I do not have.
Right. So your question is, or your perspective is,
yeah, that does not mean that we do not have shame. We have shame, but it's nothing to us. It does not reduce who we are. And as we go further, when it comes down to Galatians, when he was teaching about the union, he said, be submissive to the woman, unconditionally submissive to the man, not knowing whether he's short, he's tall, he's poor. Once you have accepted and you stick to your lines, you must give an unconditional term or sign an unconditional term. And same to the man, love unconditionally without anything in mind. And I think that's what it is all about. And I'm happy we're having this discussion. This is interesting.
Okay. So, Obi, thanks for that perspective from a biblical standpoint. I think it's always important. I'm a believer, so I always use that as my reference point. I make no apologies whatsoever on this podcast or off this podcast. So, yeah, I agree. I know when you mentioned the word submission, the numbers that have just gone up. People are like, what? As if it's a taboo. If people really understand that word submission, it takes a lot of power in an individual to relinquish that power and submit to somebody else. And for whoever you're submitting to, it doesn't make you a lord per se over the person. It actually means that you are now somebody has placed something very tender in your hands that you have to carry in a very fragile and very intentional and very considerate way to ensure that the relationship grows. We can stay here forever, but we're going to move into some other questions. So this is the next question. Someone says to me, is dating actually harder today, or is it just that we're more emotionally aware, or in some cases, emotionally exhausted? Is dating today much harder, or is it because folks are just more aware, or in some cases, emotionally exhausted? Dating. What is dating, Jojo?
Come after me.
Yeah, you're the therapist. Yes. What is it? In your words?
In my own words, dating, basically two people choosing to exclude themselves and get to know themselves towards seeing if something more permanent can come out of it. So if I look at it the old-fashioned way, it's a very intentional thing. I choose to date you. All right. If you go back all the way, picking off Obi, the biblical concept, when two are dating, it's a period where you get to know yourselves to see whether you're compatible enough to be able to then go into marriage or into a more long-term relationship. But coming back to your question, I think I would say it's become emotionally exhausting now. I would say that dating today is more difficult. Back in the days, before social media, before dating apps became the way to date, choice, yes, might have been a bit more restrictive because you would pick from family and friends. Today, yes, you can pick from a wider audience. But you find that back in the days, old-fashioned way of dating, we were intentional. We were not in a hurry. I like to call this generation microwave generation. Anything that you can't cook now, we're out of it. All right. Back in the days, we were taught resilient. So you would take your time to get to know the person. You savor the entire courtship and dating period. Today, dating is an app. Swipe, swipe, swipe. 1,000 people. Nah. Got freckles. I don't like you. So it can be quite exhausting because it's not as deep as I think the concept of dating was meant to be.
Oh. Obi, is dating harder these days, or are people just emotionally aware, or in some cases emotionally exhausted?
I wouldn't say it is harder. I wouldn't also say it is not. I think it has become both. And I will just say this. Now it has created more options than before. Now, with the advent of technology, right? You can go, it brings the world to a global village. I can date someone somewhere, not within my space. Before then, I'm limited within my space, if possible within my state. Now it gives you a more broader opportunity to make sure you don't pick the wrong person. So it can either be on app in your environment, wherever you can meet that same person. So there are more opportunities. But at the same time, it could be exhausting as well. In as much as it gives so much option. So you see that, oh, if you have limited option 1 and 2, it is an easier thing. But if you have over 1,000, it looks like, oh, it could have been the next, it could have been this. And again, because you know, where we are now makes it more difficult because those days people can buy flowers, people can go just to count the stars. Now people are not buying flowers. If you're buying flower, is a bouquet. You cannot now go to see the moon outside except you travel to the moon. So it becomes more expensive. And some people have gotten it all wrong. So it can be an easy place, a difficult place, and stay emotional.
Well, yeah, I see it. In some cases, it might now begin to appear more based on material things, and then in that process, you never get to know the person because everybody is masking and putting up all this what they call packaging and facades. And then by the time you get to know the real person, you're deep into the relationship and you're wondering what in the world and how the heck did I actually end up here? How about breaking up when you find out the person is not right? Is it okay just to say, cha-cha, it's not working, we got to go our separate ways? And how long is a long time before you actually call off the dating process, before you now say, okay, you know what, I want to get serious with this person and take it to the next level of a healthy courtship and relationship? Should I have brought someone from Gen Z to come and tell us what the deal? Or do I have old folks who are like saying, I can't remember, I don't know. I should have brought the younger ones here and say, oh, it's 2 weeks and you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, with today, so it all boils down to, and I like the fact that you brought in Gen Z. I think it also boils down, to what I will always say is our nurture. Okay. A more older, more matured person will view it differently from a Gen Z, a much younger person. Right? If I stand again with the microwave analogy, okay, the things that appear to quickly break a relationship for a younger person might not necessarily work like that for an older person. So basically what I'm saying is it's not a time frame thing. All right. However, what I would say is the whole idea of dating when it started was that you were working towards long term. Okay. It appears now with the modern style of dating, many people don't start off necessarily with the concept of long term. All right. People come onto dating apps now for so many different reasons. Some come in because they just want friendships. Some come in because they want a quick fling. It just depends. All right. The scope is so wide now that the question really would be, what is it that you and I want? Which is why you know, on apps now you put your criterias and stuff. You know, are you looking for long term? Are you here for a quick? You know, they have terminologies for it, etc., etc. Okay, so it's not a time frame thing. It's really more now about what it is you're looking for. But back in the days, you know, you would take your time and get to a point where you feel that your values and the values of that person aligns, and then you move on to the next stage.
But sometimes you do think the values align, and then when you get into the relationship, you find out the values are so misaligned, right? I said to somebody yesterday, and I'm going to say it the way I said it to the person. I was talking to him, and I said, you know, by the time you say "I do," get ready to make sure that you do, right? And somebody's like, what did he just say? I said, by the time you say "I do," make sure you're ready to do, which means you're ready to sit down, Igbo, you're ready to sit down where you're sitting down by the time you say "I do," right? But sometimes we check out, we think, oh, values align, and then we go in, values don't align. Divorce is very high in this day and age, right? In this part of the world, almost 70% of the marriages end up in divorce, if not higher. And this is not just about, I think they're even higher in the Christian world than they are outside. And it's because, in my opinion, people are getting married for the wrong reason, getting married based on pressure from family. I think that's the worst thing that any parent can do to a child, to actually put so much pressure on your daughter or on your son to get married just because it's cultural or it's society expects that. What every parent should actually want from their child, one, is to make sure that the child's well-being is intact, that they are emotionally, spiritually, and physically, in some cases, financially stable and healthy. That should be your priority as a parent. You're not there to put pressure on them and saying, when are you going to give me kids? Or when are you going to bring back a daughter for me? You know, or a son-in-law for me. You know, these are the kind of pressures, especially those of them that come from our part of the world, that just put an extra pressure. And you can see my emotions here going up because I've spoken to a lot of people recently that just have silly parents, forgive me for using that word, right? They just put this pressure on these kids, and these kids can't even focus on what they want to become or what they want to do because the parents are putting pressure. Yes, it is more important. If that child wants to get married, it'd be more important for them to get married than it is for you. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to live with that partner, not you, mother, not you, dad. So why are you putting pressure on him or her to get married, and then all of a sudden they get married based on that pressure, and then weeks, months, years after, everything is falling apart. And then you, the same parent, will come running in support of your child against that other person, but forgetting that it was your engineering that led to that person making that very hasty choice. And I say that to all the parents, including myself, that do not put any extra pressure on your child to be married. Let it be a natural decision that they make for themselves, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to live with that person and not you. If anybody from my team has taken that, make sure we post it out on our shorts. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ike. I actually want to pick on that because that is in line with both what I am, a multicultural integrative psychotherapist, and also the reason or the pretext for why my book was written. So there's nothing wrong with your values aligning. The I do isn't it isn't because the values are misaligned, all right? It's because a lot of us go in looking at only values. We don't look at the root of the person that we're marrying. And so when you now do the I do, in the I do, I like the word actually will be used, then the nakedness comes out. And the thing when you become naked in a closed space is that shame comes in. So if prior to now, we didn't understand each other's nakedness, we start to hide. And once you start to hide, then you fall apart. It's not because the values are not aligned. And so that's the reason why, for me, the premarital pep talk is very important. And that's why I use the word pep talk. The things that we don't want to discuss, those family dysfunctions that we hide, the dirty laundry in the family that no one talks about. Well, when I become a member of your family, you can't really hide that dirty laundry anymore. And somehow it's going to come out. And if I wasn't expecting that dirty laundry, if I wasn't prepped for that dirty laundry, I might not be able to handle it. So I get out. But it isn't because you and I are not compatible. It's that you didn't prep me for what I was coming in for. And I didn't prep you.
So when do you know, at what point do you now tell the person about the family dirty laundry? Because at the end of the day, you might tell the person about your family dirty laundry and they'll just bounce off and carry that whole dirty laundry just wherever it is. So when you get to where you start saying, hey, this is my family dirty laundry, are you going to wash your dirty laundry outside? I mean, if it's your personal issue, if it's something to do with you, then I think you should be transparent enough to let the person know, right? Depends on when you're in a safe place with the individual.
When I say dirty laundry, all right, I'm not asking you to come and tell us all your family secrets, but you see, dirty laundry in your family has impacted you. So, for example, I'm going to give a really far-fetched example, okay? My father is an alcoholic. My father is not an alcoholic. He's dead, rest his soul. But let's assume father was an alcoholic. Alcoholism results to control. Now, I might have vowed never to be an alcoholic, all right? So I don't touch alcohol. But when I relate with my partner, I might have some control issues. I might read into things that are not there because of what I have experienced, all right? It is only in coming clean, in using Obi's word again, I love that word, being naked with my admitting to my partner that, listen, this thing has left this kind of impression in me. So when you speak, when you do this, when you react like this, when you behave like this, it triggers this in me.
Right.
Now, because I'm now aware of my partner's triggers, of how his or her nurture has impacted them, it changes the way I look at that partner. It makes me more empathetic to them. Because empathy doesn't mean I agree with you. It doesn't mean that the way you're handling something is right. It simply means that I can put on your shoe for a few seconds and understand what is making you react the way you're reacting. I don't have to agree with it, but I can appreciate it. It then means that when you and I are communicating, the things that before I would have misunderstood and assumed in the relationship it's about me, I'm able to recognize and see, it's that wound he or she had playing up, not about me. So I'm able to step back from the argument, from the conversation, and be able to give whatever kind of real support I need to give my partner in those arenas while he or she starts to heal. Because most of the time, once people understand us, healing begins. Because then that fear goes away, that shame starts to go away, that feeling of being misunderstood, unseen, not valued, all those things start to dissipate. So you start to feel safe with this person. And in safety, healing begins.
Yeah, I agree. In safety, healing begins. And in safety, you're stronger enough to be more transparent. You have to know that you're in a safe place. People always say, oh, you're not transparent, you're not transparent. Well, I don't feel I'm in a safe place. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got about the person who has to open up. When they feel that they're in a safe place, that they can actually give you something about them for you to hold on to, then we're good to go. We're mindful of the time. Obi, this question goes to you. And someone had just put in this question. In a relationship, who is supposed to text first? The male or the female? Obviously, this is a Gen Z asking this question. What's my own with texting?
It's serious Gen Z.
Yeah.
And I like that question.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of a
Be mindful of time. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying because I know we're running out of time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It reminded me of a book I read there. She Stooped to Conquer. And the storyline was a rich girl and a shy guy. a shy rich guy and a girl. Anyway, he's too shy to approach the girl. But the girl knew his problem was shyness and created an environment for the union to happen. So he titled She Stoops to Conquer. Now, in a relationship, this is how I see it. In as much as the society will say the guy should, but the lady should create an environment. The guy should. That is the normal thing. But if you're interested as a lady, create an environment that will enable the guy see you. Make it simple and short.
I like
Okay.
that.
All right. Jojo, your opinion is?
I think we just hit the nail on the head there, actually. I don't think that there is a right or wrong approach to it. Although Obi has said that the woman should create the environment, I think it's both ways, actually. All right. Today, with the way it is, especially with the speed of dating now, both the male and the female should be willing to create an environment that encourages the other person, no matter how subtle it might be.
Okay. All right. Whew, I was going to say let's take a break, but we ain't got time for break, so let's go straight to, we're going to take two more questions and we're going to move on. Oh, this is a very interesting one. So one person says, let me take this one first. Can exes just be good friends? Can you be good friends with your ex? Obi?
Why Obi?
Okay, Jojo?
Okay, no. Just on the lighter note, don't mind me. Okay,
just very briefly, Obi. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can exes be good friends? They can be friends, but not good friends.
Okay, what's the difference between friends and good friends?
Okay, so when I mean friends, I mean that no enmity. Can't bump into you and not say hi. You get? I can't. There won't be anything I would want to do for you, or you need my help that I can't offer. But it won't be that go-to friend. That always, anytime I just want to check up on you. No. Or how you do it. No. There should be limits to communication. It's X. And more importantly, when there is somebody there. And so in order not to allow problems come in, yet you're there, we can maybe as time goes on, however we'll cross our path, we'll show ourselves good faith, but not a consistent communication. No.
Jojo?
Well, Obi is actually right. So as a therapist, we actually don't encourage it, especially if both parties are in relationships. It causes a lot of conflict for the new relationship. It also causes a lot of confusion between the exes. If we are ex, then we shouldn't carry on as good friends. So I like what Obi said. We can become acquaintances. We can hi when we meet, but I can't be your confidant, because then the new partners would feel threatened by it, and then the lines become blurred between the exes, because then it's easy to find yourself going back again to what you already know.
But you can be friends.
But you can be so like Obi said, it depends on what you mean by friends. So usually when we use the word friends, friendship means someone that you can indeed depend on, confide in. Acquaintance simply means someone that you know and can have an occasional conversation with. So it depends on in what context you're using the word friends.
Okay, so it's all about context here. All right.
It is.
It depends on how mature both people are and what they clearly have defined as that friendship. That's just my.
I have to say, that it's not just about the two people. They're now.
That's true. There's somebody else who might feel, yes, exactly. And I think on that note, then if the other person doesn't feel comfortable with any relationship whatsoever, then it's something that one has to look into and to address. Okay. All right, cool. I agree. We're going to take this last question. Unfortunately, guys, we're not going to be able to have a break. I told you guys this was a special edition. It was a Valentine special. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, so we're good to go. And this will be our last question. And this is a very interesting one. Ha ha ha. Are we guys ready? So we talked about safe spaces and sharing dirty laundry and, family secrets and all that great analogies we gave, right? This is the one that I think most people have asked me about in today's world. And we're talking about modern love. Is sharing your password to your phone a sign of trust or the beginning of control over you? Jojo, you're the therapist.
Let me take the question. Is sharing your password?
Yes. If someone says to you, if you trust me, then you should be able to share your password to your phone with me. Is that a sign of building trust, or is that a sign of someone having control over you?
That's manipulation. So it's very different if I choose to share my password with you. So it's a choice. I have made that choice, and that is me extending my trust. But where my partner uses, for want of a better word, words like, oh, if you trust me, you would, that's manipulation. That is control in the making. That is not based on trust. Trust is earned and given freely. You don't need to ask someone to trust you. You earn people's trust and they give it freely.
Okay. Obi?
You said that. Yeah. Before you said that, a question was popping in my head. And that said, should it be our privacy or my privacy? Now, if it is our privacy, no longer my privacy, it will not be my partner asking for my password. And like Jojo said, my partner asking is manipulation and control. But if I understand that it is our privacy, my partner should have my password without asking. And now this goes beyond trust, right? Because it is me. God forbid, in the case of eventuality, we keep our phone closed and locked because of contact, businesses, and whatever. But in case of eventuality, somebody should have access. And my partner should have access. If we have that mindset, it creates a better place. But if it's not coming from, it is our privacy, then it is control and manipulation. But before you get to control and manipulation, it means that I have created a signal of not letting our privacy be our privacy and making it mine. Okay. I don't know if that answers it.
Right. I think that answers it. Again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier on. Do you trust the person? Are you in a safe space? And are the boundaries, respected, right? I can have my spouse's password and never bother going into her phone in the discussion, because the person gave it to me not for me to be monitoring what's going on her phone, but actually to, just in case there's an emergency, go in and check, right? So she must have felt some level of comfort before she said that to me. On the other hand, I have to feel the same comfort before I can actually give it to her and say, okay, this person is not going to take this opportunity to start going through the phone. And no big deal, there might be nothing in the phone, but just that invasion of someone's privacy, I think it's very important. And in today's world, I think people don't respect people's boundaries enough. And it's a problem. Like someone opening your letter back in the day, for me, was a no-go area. And even if it was just a bill, but let it be that I say to you, Obi, can you open your letter open my mail for me, please, if I'm not around? Then I've given Obi that authority to come into my space and check my mail for me, right? But if Obi now thinks, because we live in the same house, just open my mail, then that's a problem right there, because there's a very thin line between respecting people's private space. It's like going through someone's closet, going through someone's emails. For what? And my mom will always say to you, if you look, you will find. You know, if it's careful, right? That's what they say, right? So if you look, you will find. And sometimes what you're looking at and assuming that is what it is might not be it. And then you go running around thinking that this person has gone off the rails, is doing some crazy stuff. And but by the time they say, this is what you're worried about, this is nothing, you've created a lot of tension in the relationship. Whew. All right, guys, we could stay here forever. We've done 50 minutes. Our normal time is 30, so this is a special event. And I told guys we're going to go over. So at this point in time, I'm going to start winding it down, and I'm going to ask the drop-off question. Unless anybody else has anything they want to say, it's time for the drop-off question. I'll go to Obi. Obi, do you have anything you want to say that you have not said yet?
We've said a lot. I think I have. Nothing more to say. I have.
Okay, good. For Obi to say he has, that means we're exhausted. All right. Jojo, do you have anything to say?
I'm a saleswoman. Get the premarital pep talk.
Yeah, that's it. Please go online. It's actually found on Amazon. That's where I got mine from. And anywhere where you can buy books, you'll find it. It's very interesting. I got the soft copy. I've read through it, and I just ordered the hard copy also. So well done. Kudos to you on that great book. I pray that lift it up one more time because I don't have my own copy here. That people will go and read it. It's well balanced. It has both clinical and realistic scenarios. You can put the book down. We can see it. We've seen the book. Thank you. And so it's a good one for anyone to grab and help themselves. Whether you're married, to be married, divorced, to be divorced, or whether you're just single. It's about relationships. And this month, what we're talking about is about family, love, and relationships. And I think this special edition. And for the lady who's out there or the guy who's out there who did not spend Valentine yesterday with someone and feels down and out, may I just encourage you that the fact that you did not get flowers does not mean you're not a flower. You are a flower. You blossom. You're beautiful inside and outside, whoever you are. So it shouldn't be a yardstick or a way of actually determining who you are as a person. I encourage you to first love yourself, and then whatever you have inside, give off the right energy. People will pick up that vibe. I tell people all the time that things start from the spiritual before they manifest in the natural. I'll say that again. Things start from the spiritual in the other world before they start manifesting themselves in the natural. So look at yourself, like Jojo said in her book, do some self-awareness, self-assessment, see what is. Sometimes God might not allow you to meet that person yet because there's some things you haven't addressed yet that could be a problem in the future. So by the time you start dealing with yourself, you come whole. Hopefully you meet a guy and he comes whole, or the guy, you fix yourself and you meet a woman and she comes whole, you come whole, and the relationship is whole. There's so much pain out there that you're better off. I told my daughter, go out, have fun. And she went out with her friends yesterday. She just had a good time. They're all single girls. And I applauded them for that, because it doesn't make you or break you if you didn't get the flowers. So the drop-off question. So Jojo, you are a special guest today, so I'll let you answer this drop-off question. What was the most exciting day of your life?
When I got the news that I was pregnant for my first daughter.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Well, to give context to that, because it might not sound very exciting to someone.
No, that is exciting. That's big. The birth of a child. Yeah.
I had series of miscarriages and had been told I couldn't carry. So that was, it was, although the doctor still said there was risk, but just the fact that, this particular one had stayed and I didn't even know I was pregnant. That was very me. So.
It's amazing when you hear people say this kind of thing, they didn't know they were pregnant after they looked for so long. Because I think when you stop worrying about it, or when you start thinking about it, most of the times it just naturally takes place. And not just one, you had two, and you went ahead to have three, right?
Yes, yes, I have three.
So see, it's God has the final say in all these matters. So for the woman who's out there, they've told you can't walk again, you can't speak again, you can't have kids again For the child who said you were going to amount to nothing, hey, look at me. I'm one of those guys that were told, you know, amount to nothing, and I'm a great guy today, whether anybody believes it or not. So, but to Obi, who everybody counted out, totally counted out as a ruffian, a rascal, gangster, they had no hope for him. Today, he's now a solid guy doing great things, happily married to a beautiful wife and a lovely daughter. So it all goes down to what God has already planned for us and what we help ourselves do. So there you go. Obi, to you. What was the most exciting? You're not supposed to answer, but since you're on the call, I just give you that opportunity. What was the most exciting day in your life? Briefly.
Amongst all the exciting days, the most, I'll put it there. The day she said, I do.
Oh, wow.
Was the union of Beauty and the Beast. The day the Beauty said, I do to the Beast.
Yeah, you have a beautiful wife. You look like a beast, but you're not a beast.
You know the story now.
I don't know how Obi met his wife. Honestly, when he first introduced the girl, like, does this girl know? But you know what I learned? I've always learned that good girls like bad boys. Good girls just like bad boys. You know, every bad boy needs love, and every good girl needs some in her life. Some roughage. Yeah. All right, we're done. This is the special edition of Broken Nut. Shout out to my special guest, Jojo. Thank you so much for making out time to be on this show. We have taken a long time, but it was because we promoted it as a special event. If you want to find more about her therapy sessions, her counseling sessions, she's even worked with members of my family. She has worked with members of my organization, and I know a lot of people that have benefited from her work. Please check her out on talktojojofirst.com and book a session if you need it. She's based out in the UK and does phenomenal work. Kudos to you. She's so balanced in her approach, and that makes a difference. Obi, you're my G, so, you know, thanks for being a guest on today's show. And we're going to wrap up in our famous 3 words. To those who are watching, please, please, please just love yourself, okay? Love, peace, and more grace. Take care, and God bless you guys. What do you want to say, Obi? It's a wrap. Are you part of the City Boys? Let me get off this show. Take care, guys. Love you. Thank you, Jojo. God bless. See you guys.